Hello, greetings, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another Mobile Mayhem stream for you guys. Let me make sure I've got all the sources figured out. I did not, but now we're good. Yeah, we are back. Lots of additional great matchups for you guys. As you can see, we're going to get it started tonight with Nova Imperium versus Turbulence. Great matchup right off the start. Following that, the veterans versus the new guys. Tribe versus Gravity, same thing. Veterans versus the new guys. And then last matchup of the night is going to be Xset versus Infinix Gaming. Lots of great matchups coming at you guys. Hope you guys have been enjoying. If you have been, make sure to go ahead, hit a follow, like, subscribe, whatever it is. And, yeah, I believe Day should be joining me shortly here. In the meantime, we'll go take a look at our standings real quick. Heading into today's matchup, Fierce up at the top, Infinix close behind, about 20 points back, tied with Xset for third place in Division 1. Turbulence up at the top of Division 2. Turbulence versus Nova Imperium, definitely going to be a really good one to watch. The standings looking to be very, very tight in Division 2. Keep in mind we will have some games being run off stream as well, so that'll be another thing to keep your eye out for, as we will be updating the standings throughout the night and whatnot. It looks like it is time to make the YouTube stream go live, so we better do that before YouTube starts getting angry at me. But yeah, should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit the start recording button before I end up forgetting to do it. And Day, still no stream. There we go. Now we've got his face popping up. We're going to move him over here. We are joined by the one and only Day, who's going to be casting with us. Matchup number 1 is going to be Turbulence versus Nova Imperium. Who you got?
Well, I mean, you really can't sleep on Nova Imperium. Obviously, we've talked about them as just an all-star roster for all of Mobile Mayhem. They came through with some really big performances in the last season. Turbulence, though, is kind of like a mini all-star team, so I do think this should be a really good matchup between these two teams. I can't hear you that well, Bobby, but I'm trying to turn the volume down. Oh, there we go. I found it.
I don't know. I don't think the stream is lagging. Let me know if it is. I think that we should have it fixed as of right now. Hawk's Nest is in Tribe, but as a content creator, not as a pro player. Same for Ferg. Their pro roster looks a little bit different from what their content roster does, but looks like we've got pretty much everybody readied up and good to go, so we are good. Top in to matchup number 1 of the night. It is going to be Turbulence versus Nova Imperium. A lot of very experienced players on both of these teams. Should definitely be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I am navigating with a emulator today, so
okay.
Let me try to get all the buttons figured out, but I'll do my best for you guys. Don't you worry. As we do get into our game 1 on Crossfire Hardpoint. This is a phenomenal opening map for these two teams. It's going to be very competitive on who's able to make the rotations and who's able to anchor spawns. This map does fare very similar to Crash. So a lot of those corner hardpoints are very difficult to break and hard to get to. And then the first one is the big difference. On Crash Hardpoint, obviously we've got the big open, not a lot of contest, but with this one being inside, upstairs, any team that is able to get in on that first hard point is going to get a lot of points, as we see here. Obviously, we have Turbulence scoring over 30 points at this point.
Yeah, very strong start for them, and it looks like we're starting to have a very similar meta to what we've seen at different points in the past, both with the Corday and the HG40. in the HVK becoming almost the 70 to 80% used gun, especially when it comes to respawns. You can see over on Nova Imperium, I believe 4 players currently using the HVK. Over on Turbulence, I believe we still have 3 players using it, so the strength of this gun definitely showing itself. Nova Imperium is set up well over on this next hardpoint. He and High, or Vague and High, along with Zealous, have finally been able to find some frags, but Hex and Swag not really able to get anything going yet. It does look like they've got pretty solid map control. If Vague can win this gunfight over on the side, he is able to do so up against Slothy. That will, for the most part, secure that top side for the rest of the time on the hard point and will force Turbulence to now go ahead and start setting up for Nyx.
Yeah, and this has been a competitive map between these two teams so far. And again, a lot of these hard points function very similar to Crash in that they are hard to break, and if you can't get in, you're going to trickle over a lot of points to your team. We did see that with the open for Turbulence, as I mentioned. You know, they were able to get 30 off the opening hard point, which is not something we normally see. But ever since then, this has very much been a Nova Imperium dominated game. As we see, they are potentially approaching 100 points if they're able to break this corner.
Yeah, and it looked like they were off to a slow start, but have since picked it up in a big way. Hex and Swag still not making any contributions, and they're going to need to if they're going to find a way to get the break on this hard point. One of the most challenging breaks to find. We do see Soso holding down that head glitch, but it's actually Zealous ripping him off with the HVK, and it's going to allow him to push up, apply some pressure on this bottom side. Zealous is going to be able to take out Beamed just like that. We got the break coming in for Nova Imperium, who looks like is taking things a lot more seriously, which you love to see. We know they've got a lot of skilled players, but a lot of times just haven't been able to quite play up to their potential. So now setting up, they've gotten the break, will likely be able to get the rest of these 15 seconds of scrap time. That will set them over 110 points, hopping into P4. That's definitely going to be a good spot to be. So spotting Zealous on the top side. He is able to win that gunfight. That's going to be a crucial one to maintain that hardpoint control for the time being. But now with Nova Imperium making the rotations, this is where the challenge really begins.
Yeah, and when your enemy starts getting into these final numbers of scoring, it becomes very, very difficult in the sense that you can't afford to give any trickle over at the beginning or at the end. There is a little bit of a cushion right here now for Turbulence, with Imperium having about 35, 37 points to go. But it's looking really good if you are a Nova Imperium fan. You need to get in here and make a break, and as long as they can make a break or make a rotation over towards next hardpoint, they can win on the full next hardpoint if they're able to hold it down.
Yeah, and this has been a really good hold for Turbulence so far. They absolutely needed this. If they're able to get the rest of the time here, they should be able to be pretty close to tying things up. More than likely, once we get to the bottom toward the 10-second marker, some of these players are going to start to make the push out to try to take control of P5. Once again, that's one of those very challenging to break hard points, just like I mean, honestly, just about all of them, except for the first one, are pretty difficult to break. So this is where some of the operators, the score streaks, are going to start to come in. It'll play a bigger factor. If they use them right, it'll allow them to get a break more easily, but that is definitely a big if. We see the Annihilators coming into play. Couple frags on the board. Beamed looking to find one as he is able to push down into the P3 side, but not able to find anything quite yet.
Yeah, this is in a very close game. Turbulence did drop on a couple players there, and now this is that opportunity I was telling you about for Nova. If they're able to make the rotation over early and get a lockdown on hardpoint, they have a lot of opportunity where they can close things out. They only need about 15 points, and there's 25 on the board, so they are looking good unless if a miracle comes through from Turbulence here. They need to find this fight now.
Yeah, and I think with all the operators used up for Turbulence and everything else, they just don't really have much of a shot right there. We saw one War Machine coming in at the end, but just too much firepower over on Nova Imperium. They're going to be able to get the dub in game number 1, in large part due to the contributions from High and Zealous, both playing a really big role. A little bit of struggle at the bottom of the scoreboard for both Hex and for Swag, but those are also two players that will typically do better in Search and Destroy, so definitely still going to keep an eye on them. But everybody except for Beamed over on Turbulence going negative, not too very much to worry about for Nova Imperium. You can see Hex, the main OBJ player as well, with a minute 32 on the hill, so going 5 and 6, not necessarily a bad stat line for him.
Yeah, and those are important numbers to pay attention to, Bobby. I mean, you know, you don't see a ton of action. I mean, you'll get kills here and there or die here and there. But when you're playing that anchor position that Hacks typically does, you're getting that spawn for your team. You're pushing from enemy spawn into the next hardpoint, trying to make a break for your team. And he did a phenomenal job doing that there. Chaos on the other team over here on Turbulence did kind of fill that same role, and that's what we've seen from him earlier in the week as well. He does try to play that anchor. He does play very objective based and allows his teammates like Beamed and Slothy and So to play those big Slayer parts. However, coming up against this Nova roster, I think Hacks did a better job anchoring, and overall the gunfights just constantly went in favor of Nova. High specifically had a couple points during the game where he just had really good corner peeks where he was able to find a quick kill off of some headshots, and it was just really optimal for them to be able to get those kills and deny the push coming out of Turbulence.
Yep, that was a basically perfectly performed game for Nova Imperium. We'll see if they're able to replicate it as we are good to go. Hopping into Search and Destroy on Standoff. Sniper's going to play a big role here. It looks like Swag will be the lone sniper as High. Having a lot of success with that HVK so far. Going to continue to keep it in hand. We see Vague pulling out the Akimbo Phoenix. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's banned, or maybe it was unbanned. Nope, he's actually going to swap back to the RUS right there. So it will actually be two snipers over on the side of Nova Imperium. High and Swag both pulling them out, trying to find that first blood. So in space, doing the same for their team. Nobody finding any picks yet, and just as I say it, High finds the frag onto So. One sniper will drop. That'll open things up, making the A push a little bit more manageable right here. Very nearly finding another one onto the bomb site, but he's going to pull out the pistol. Not even going to need it as Zealous is able to get a frag, but Space quickly trading right there. Another will drop as Chaos gets the frag onto Vague, and suddenly we're in a 3v3 with the bomb going down for Nova Imperium. What looked like a really good situation for Turbulence, now pretty even, if not at a disadvantage, because they're going to be forced to make the push over onto the site. We'll see if Space can maybe find a pick to open something up right here, but with Zealous finding a frag, that is going to make things significantly more difficult. Chaos able to get the refrag onto Hex, and Space pushing into the site right here. Actually, Swag, oh, it looked like he had an opportunity there, but Zealous beaming from above. Swag is able to get the pistol kill, and it will be Nova Imperium coming out on top in round number 1.
Yeah, and Swag is actually really quick with those pistol swaps and has a phenomenal trigger finger as well. So as we've seen there, he's able to clean that kill up with the pistol. That does give him a little bit of versatility, despite being a sniper. You know, if you do miss that shot or if you do get a hit marker close range, you have that opportunity to finish off your team. So that's going to be a 1-point lead for Nova Imperium, and Beamed is actually able to find the kill on Swag up above the tank onto the pillar. And it is now going to be a 3-1 lead for Nova. Make that a 3-1 for them, as Zealous was able to pick up the kill onto Slothy there, and now it's Space alone with just a sniper. Not a great position for him to be in.
Yeah, he's going to round the corner. Vague's going to be able to win that gunfight pretty easily. Will be Nova Imperium taking the second round, as well as they're able to get the plant in, and just not a whole lot of options for Space to work with right now. It looks like, for the time being, Nova Imperium just the more well-rounded team, which is not too surprising to see. A lot of their struggles recently have just been a lack of cohesion, lack of confidence, lack of seriousness, whatever it would be, but seeing the way they're performing right now, definitely a really good sign for them. So we do see Zealous pushing out over toward boxes. Still trying to find a pick. Nothing coming in quite yet. High's actually going to end up getting hit markered and hop back behind the tank, and the push over onto A will come in. peeking the top angle, not able to land the first snipe, but does force Beam back. I believe he actually saw space up above. Not going to quite be able to land the shot. He's going to get hit markered through the wall. Sticky situation. Trades coming in. So drops, but only after getting the shot onto Swag. High is able to get the trade. Space hits hit markers right there. Getting a lot of hit markers so far. Got to be frustrating. High with the bold challenge over on the side. He's going to be able to hit the shot and Beamed. Now all by himself. Not going to be able to win the gunfight versus Zealous. Nova Imperium taking the lead. 3-0. Could be a quick 2-0 for them.
Yeah, they're looking to close it out. Zealous is doing absolutely great here. 7 kills on the board, Bobby. Absolutely anchoring for his team. Been a huge player for this roster, especially in Search and Destroy, and today he's popping off big. Hax and Swag struggling really to get on the board. 1 kill apiece, but I think that's because the kills are just disappearing, but just as we say it, that's Nova disappearing. A clean round going over to the side of Turbulence.
Yeah, they went for the aggressive A push, and it fell apart quickly. You saw the concussion nade go in right there. Immediately, 3 players dropped, and at that point, the round was all but over. As that was pretty much perfect execution for Turbulence, who might be able to put up a little more of a fight, but just as I say it, we do have Swag getting the snipe onto Space. Chaos able to get the refrag, so 4 players per team. Hopping up is High, but not able to land the initial shot. He's got players on all sides. Not a great spot for him to be. Oh, what a shot onto Beamed! Perfect timing, and basically the worst timing possible for Beamed. He's not going to be able to hit the follow-up shot, but it's a 2v2, taking shots from multiple angles, not quite able to land shots over on left side of the tank, and somehow still staying alive. Hack's going to be the only one left who will drop to Chaos. And just like that, yeah, Turbulence starting to bounce back.
Chaos played that absolutely perfectly there. He waited and was able to actually defend. I believe it was Slothy was in a gunfight with High. And as Zealous started to push out from behind boxes, Chaos was able to come through and actually pick up both kills as the opposition was distracted by the gunfight that was currently going on. So Chaos, big round there. I think he picked up 3 kills that round. And that's really what you need if you are Turbulence here going up against, I mean, again, this Nova Imperium roster is a roster that we've, revered as kind of one of the best Search and Destroy teams in the league. All the way back from days where some of these guys played with Seminole and had obviously really strong win streaks there, and then moving on through a couple different teams, they consistently remained a strong Search and Destroy team. So Turbulence being able to push back and not let the clean sweep go there after it was looking so bad was, I mean, that's just great for them.
And High is able to pick up the first blood right there. The nade lands onto Slothy. That'll open things up for them. And actually being on the defensive side, making things significantly more comfortable. We do have a couple frags coming in. So finally able to land one onto Hax. He won't be able to take out Zealous. Continuing to beam with that HVK in space. Left all by himself. Swag's able to land a snipe of his own. And the round's finally starting to go back to Nova Imperium as the very passive approach for Turbulence not seeming to work out very well when you've got 2 powerful snipers over on Nova Imperium. If they're able to find any type of picks off the start, it's just going to start going backwards very quickly. So we'll see if they take any type of a different approach right here as we do once again have the first blood going to High.
Yeah, High doing a good job for his team as well. 6 kills on the board. So is making a rotation over, but he is going to get dropped by High, who is ready for him to jump up onto the tank there. So this is not looking great if you are a Turbulence fan. They do obviously still have an opportunity, but being down a player against Nova Imperium, having to plant the bomb, giving too much time up, allowing Nova to get set up in their rotations, not a great spot to be in. Beamed. Gonna lose that 2v1 gunfight, and Vague actually picks up the second one as well.
Wow. Vague cleaned that one up quickly. I don't even know where he found shots onto Chaos from, but those were absolutely crucial right there, as we do now have match point for Nova Imperium. Pretty consistent across the board, even though Swag and Hax once again not having their usual performances. It's been enough as we've seen Zealous and High and Vague all together making crazy contributions, and here comes the aggressive A push We'll see whether or not it's going to pay off. It's not going to, and oh my gosh, did it not pay off in a big way. That was shut down immediately by Nova Imperium, and Turbulence probably wishing they could have had a do-over on that one, as we do have a quick end to our first match of the night. Zealous top fragging for the team with 9, as does Vague, and it will be Nova Imperium getting 20 more points on the scoreboard, moving them up to the top of their division, I believe.
That sounds about right. I actually did like the fact that Turbulence went aggressive that last round. I think players specifically like Beamed, Space, and Slothy, I think they excel in that kind of run and gun style. So I do like that they tried to switch things up towards the end of the game there, but I think it was a little too late, and then that was just a really unfortunate push for them moving on over towards the B-bomb. Obviously Nova was already set up. We saw a couple kills go in their favor right away. At that point, the rest exposed, and Nova Imperium were able to close that one out. Particularly though, Chaos, who we did see struggle on the in the kills department for Respawn, very, very strong search and destroy player, especially on defense, plays very, very patient and is able to actually find a lot of clean picks based off of just using sound. So keep an eye out for Chaos as we move forward, guys.
Yeah, and with Turbulence being at the top of Division 2, probably not the result they would have liked to have, but you can't win them all, and definitely a learning experience for them. We will get ready to hop into our next matchup. As you guys can see from our schedule right here, we do have Fierce versus Fearless coming up next. Fierce picking up a lot of really good players, not only having a solid roster from last season with Sneaky and company, but also able to pick up, I believe Raballo has started to pick up the snipes. They picked up Main Mike, they picked up Shadow, just a lot of firepower on that roster. If they can get the team chemistry going, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And obviously, Fearless, the newer team on the block, looking to make a name for themselves. I'm not sure that they've been able to gain any points yet. Nope. Fearless, Strike Zone, and Gene all looking to pick up their first wins of Mobile Mayhem. So taking a look at the bracket, or rather the schedule one more time, we won't see Gene Gaming. They'll be playing off stream tonight, but we'll see if they're able to make something happen and potentially get their first points on the board. We'll be letting you guys know the results of those games as they happen. Let me check and see if we have results for that. Admins, if we do have results, let me know. But it does look like we've got Fearless started to load into the lobby, so we should be good to hop in shortly. Appreciate everybody stopping by the stream. This is our $2,500 Mobile Mayhem tournament, running every Tuesday and Thursday. This is going to be a longer one. This is the biggest prize pool that we've had, so and apparently the other games will be happening directly after the broadcast over on Zim's channel, and he'll be streaming them. So if you guys want to go follow Zim, you can do that. Yeah, those will be the two games that were previously run off stream, but Zim will be hosting them now. So you guys will have the opportunity to check those out if you wish to do so. But we got our teams loading in right now. Should be good to go pretty soon here. Dave flashing the Red Bull, trying to get the sponsorship.
It's just a silver can. I was trying to go under the camera, but I have officially got recording on my end now going, Bobby, so
all right. Hopefully
that'll help us get some flashy stuff for the chat.
Fantastic.
Now if I can just get used to the emulator. It's a little weird. I actually think this should be a pretty good matchup as far as a viewer standpoint, because I do feel like Fearless is actually a really strong team when they show up. Particularly for this team on Tuesday, Shield, who last week was one of the top fraggers and kind of one of the anchors to how well the team was going to perform, just did not do well on Tuesday, and a lot of the team really seemed to suffer around it. So I definitely want to see how Fearless are able to perform here today. And then as well, obviously, this Fierce roster. Fierce is a roster that, I mean, season after season, Bobby, seems to struggle with either player retention or how they want to run the team. I think this season they actually have some really strong pickups in, obviously, Main Mike, Sneaky, Shadow, all really great additions to be here with Raballo and Renown. So really excited about this Fierce roster moving forward. And as we do get into Summit Hardpoint, keep in mind, guys, this is one of those maps where you really, really have to pay attention to the anchor players. There will be obviously a benefit to winning your gunfights and getting kills, but this map is absolutely commanded by being able to anchor spawns.
Yeah, we do see a very strong start off the bat for Fierce. 4 kills on the board for Shadow. No surprise there. Raballo picks up number 2, as does Sneaky and Renounce. And Main Mike, one of the few people sticking to the shotgun, even his first kill, but with a 39-point lead right off the bat, his team not hurting too much for it. We'll see him sliding the corner right here. Won't quite spot the player on the back of the head glitch, but still able to pick up the rest of this time, already pushing out to the second hard point, and it is going to be a 53-1 lead off the start for Fierce. We do have Orbital finally taking out Main Mike, but a lot of firepower showing itself for Fierce.
Yeah, absolutely. Raballo and Shadow and Sneaky all having phenomenal games right now. Shadow 7 kills on the board. Main Mike, as you mentioned, one of the players that we've always watched with the shotgun, but you know, you were mentioning it to me last broadcast, that the shotguns have all kind of received, or at least the ones that we have been seeing in North America, all received some nerfs. The Buy 15 as well as the KRM, so definitely would like to see Mike switch off here, get into something that's a little bit more comfortable for helping the team. You would like to see it on Summit, be able to pull off some of those one-shots at the corners. There's a lot of movement, but it's just not having that effect.
And we actually have Shield pulling out the KRM, which was actually nerfed even more than the Buy 15, so a couple of surprising picks right here. They were able to pick up a few seconds on the hill, so at least avoiding the 150-0. They are set up to control spawns. They've got players on the hill if they're able to hold it. Could be some big time on the hill for them, but that's a big if. You got to win those gunfights. Shield's going to slide the corner, pick up a frag, and they're starting to get into a little more of a rhythm. A couple players on the long side trying to get things to happen here, but just like that, the shotgun comes out for Shield once again. Gets a frag, but unfortunately, it looks like Fierce has actually been able to take control of spawns. That's going to be a big loss for Fearless. Not only losing control of the hard point, but losing control of the spawns as well. Not a good spot for them to be. East trying to find the one remaining player, and they actually are able to maintain control of the hard point. So for them to be able to retake that, especially with a solid push from Fierce, is a pretty good sign.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really big opportunity for the side of Fearless here. Again, this map can really switch favor just depending on who's able to get those anchors. So far, it has been a dominant control on the side of Fierce. We mentioned Shadow and Sneaky were really popping off. Raballo as well. I mean, they're all crossing into double digits at this point. Shield having a much better game today as opposed to Tuesday, so I think that is definitely helping out a little bit. And as well, Lethal is popping through strong here, matching Raballo and Sneaky at 9 kills. Unfortunately for the side of Fearless, though, Fierce did get the anchor on these spawns, and it does look like they are really kind of primed to be able to win on this hard point here. Raballo able to pick up a double kill with the Annihilator there, and actually nobody rotating back. Sneaky sat there for a minute, no long side rotations in sight, but here they come now. There's going to be 1 kill going over to Riot. Can he make the break? He needs to get it in.
And we talked earlier about how much we had started to see the HVK being used. If you look over at Fierce, currently 5 HVKs in play for them. No doubt a part of the reason they were able to close this out and control the map so easily is they get the win 150-52 right there. Definitely expecting some sort of a nerf to come in for that. Not only is it a 3-tap AR, but it has the rate of fire of an SMG. So right now, causing some big time issues for pretty much anybody that doesn't use it, and helping Fierce move on to an easy win in game number 1. We did see some good plays and contributions from Lethal. He's able to pick up 10 frags, but unfortunately, his teammates just not able to get some of those rotations in time, especially on the first couple of hard points. And even with how well they played P3, things had snowballed so much up to that point that there wasn't a whole lot they were able to do to try to bring things back. We'll see if they're able to bounce back as we get ready to hop into Search and Destroy. It looks like most of our players are readied up. Once they are, we should be good to go.
Yeah, and of Fearless here, if they were going to have anything going for them this game, I truly believe it would have been in respawns. I do not see this going well for them, going up against the likes of Sneaky and Shadow, two very prominent snipers moving into Search and Destroy. Main Mike, again, a player that we typically see with the shotguns out, but they have been nerfed a little bit. Maybe we'll have to see him move into something like the a submachine gun roll or a running gun. I believe you mentioned that the Fenix did get banned, though, right?
Yes, the Akimbo Fenix did get banned. So that is the main reason that we've not seen it. And honestly, it's a good thing they got banned, because those might actually be more broken than the HVK. Definitely some balance changes needed before we head on to Stage 5 of the COD Mobile Championship. So it's a good thing there haven't been details announced for that yet, but we do see Riot's pushing over to trailer side, holding down A, and we got Shadow on the backside. Trying to... Oh, no, he's not finding a pick. He's sitting there with the trophy system. Might be fixing some... Did Sneaky just call out?
I do believe they were separate kills, but...
All right.
Well, it was quite good for him there.
Sneaky is an absolute madman and picks up another one right afterward onto Riot's. One player on the inside of trailer hits the shot onto Shield. I don't really understand how that happened, but that's going to be a really quick first round for Fierce.
Yeah, and again, I do give Fierce the edge here. They have many players on their team that are very prominent and skilled with the snipers. I believe we actually see 4 of them out right now, so not a lot of opportunity for the side of Fearless to take corners. But if they're able to get up close, they may be able to press for those gunfights a little bit harder. Shadow, actually the one player opting not to use a sniper this round, which, I mean, I guess if anybody was going to use a sniper, I would at least say Shadow was not the one I would expect to be on AR, but...
Raballo just RPG'd himself.
Oh, no.
So we saw the entire team go to bathrooms right there. I'm not sure what that game plan was. Somehow it's still ending up working, as we do see Fierce up 2 players. 1 player will actually drop, and a couple frags coming in for Fearless, and just like that, Renounce able to get a trade. Orbital will be able to survive the hit marker, and Main Mike gonna be the only player remaining for Fierce. Hopping up top, trying to see if he can find the frag. He's taking shots from bomb site. He's got a player flanking from the left. He's not gonna be able to do anything about it. Riots will pick up the final kill, and Fearless will be able to bounce back and tie things up at 1-1.
Yeah, Fearless definitely need any kind of momentum here. Again, if I expected to see anything out of them, it would have been in the first matchup, which would have been in respawn modes. But for them to show signs of life here early in Search and Destroy does give them a little bit of room. Now, I do have to call it out here that it may be a little on the trolling side of Fierce. Just, I mean, obviously there's not been a meta where 4 snipers is a realistic option, so I would not expect Fierce to be running this in every one of their Search and Destroy matchups, so kind of take it with a grain of salt, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. The passive strategy, the longer they play passive, the more it benefits Fearless, so we'll see if they're able to take back-to-back rounds. Mike looking like he might push up a little bit more play the aggressive side. Lethal's able to pick up the first blood onto Renounce. That's going to be big. Makes the push that much more difficult. Mike will drop to East, and it's now a two-man advantage for Fearless, who causing some issues for Fierce. Lethal going to push over into American. Sneaky, however, getting a trade as East will drop. Lethal, however, ready. He takes out Raballo. Sneaky not able to find anybody yet. Only 2 players remain for Fierce right here, and they're going to need to not only go get the bomb, but they got to contend with the 4 remaining Fearless players. We do see Pushy, or Sneaky now making a push over toward the bomb and not going to spot anybody over off the backside. 1 player on the inside, a trailer on the little hop-up. Waiting with the shotgun could be advantageous, but Sneaky's going to be able to pick up the bomb here. Shield now pushing over to the side, ready for the plant to come in. The concussion's going to go out, but Sneaky is ready for it, able to save his teammate. That's going to be a huge frag for them. 1 player trying to land snipes from inside American. Riot's able to get the frag, but the shot by Sneaky is too clean. Now in a 1v2. Trying to see if he can get this plant down, but just no time to work with for him. He's going to be able to take out... Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
He was down to 1 second on the clock! How?
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate for Lethal. I mean, he was coming up on being able to get the kill. It was Sneaky had glitching the bomb. Very, very low on health. It was able to turn around and get that clean quickscope over bomb. 9 kills on the board for Sneaky. Absolutely massively popping it off. I mean, he's averaging 3 kills a round right now, Bobby. With 3 rounds in, 9 kills on the board, that's a great position to be in. It really just goes to show how strong those early sniper picks can be, especially here on firing range, where no matter what path you really take, there's long-range vantage opportunities in all sorts.
Yeah, and to be honest, in that round, Fearless pretty much threw. Like, all they had to do in order to win right there was 2 seconds on the clock. All they had to do was not die. So there's no reason for them to try to push that gunfight at all. And Sneaky just made the play of a lifetime, landing the back-to-back snipes. Renounce is cleaning up right now as we see him moving up to 4 kills. And I believe he may have all 3 so far this round. Looking to make it an ace. We got 1 player on the inside of Wood. Not able to land shots on the Riots, but he hits the follow-up. East is going to be the only player left. He gets the frag onto Sneaky, but it could end up being an ace for Renounce right here. Unfortunately, Shadow's going to pick up the final kill, and it will be Fierce taking another round as they go up 3-1.
Yeah, and Fierce are really kind of showing their stuff here, specifically Sneaky. Up in those first couple of rounds, but then Renounce had a really, really strong performance in that last round as well. Once again, I mean, the player I had mentioned early on that we really need to see have a strong performance was Shield, and Shield has been unable to pull through for the team, and unfortunately, I feel like... Oh,
Shadow just...
Yikes.
He just full pushed onto the bomb site and axed him in the face. I'm sorry, that was just too funny.
That was a pretty big yikes there. We don't get to see the axes very often, though. Not a lot of the melee weapons, not a lot of the, not a lot of the thrown weapons either. So at least it's fun and exciting.
I'm trying to see chat's reaction to what Sneaky just did. That was just like. That's gonna be a clip of the season. I mean, that's gonna be a clip of like the history of Mobile Mayhem. The snipes that he was hitting right there were just something else. It is gonna be an easy A plant right here for Fearless. So all they've got to do at this point is protect. But a lot of players over on the backside of Trailer. Renounce hoping to get that first blood. He's able to do so. Couple frags. East is going to die to his own RPG as he gets the kill. Renounce hits another snipe. He's been so good with it so far. Hits the follow-up. Riots will drop as well. They're going to let him get the defuse with all the work he's been doing, and it will be a 4-2 lead for Fierce.
Yeah, Fierce, I mean, this is a team that I think is actually going to perform exceptionally well throughout this season. Again, they've struggled in the past with getting rosters locked in and keeping them consistent. I think this is the Fierce roster that I really, really like. A lot of these players just perform really, really well together. I mean, I think our main snipers over on the Fierce side will end up being Shadow and Sneaky for Search and Destroy. Raballo, Renounce, Main Mike obviously going to be going into ARs, potentially shotguns if Main Mike doesn't decide it's necessary to make the switch. So keep an eye out for him throughout the season. Shield finally getting one on the board, but again, still waiting to see Shield bring the A game to the table, because when Shield underperforms, the team underperforms usually around them as well. That has not been the case this time, as Lethal picks up a double kill, but
Sneaky's in the 1v3 again.
More performance.
Yeah. Sneaky's in the 1v3 again. The plan's going down on B. That's going to be one easy snipe. He's going to slide the corner, looking for another. He's not going to be able to land shots onto Riots. Unfortunately for him, it won't be another clip. And Fearless keeping this pretty close as they move things to 3-4.
Yeah, and again, I do have to boil some of this down, Bobby, to just, I don't feel like Fierce are really taking this matchup seriously. And that is the struggle of kind of being the new guys on the block, right? You have a lot to prove, and you're going up against a couple of the strongest teams actually pretty much back-to-back from Tuesday to today. So still a lot of opportunity to see these guys perform throughout the rest of the season. Obviously with some scoring changes, they won't be 2 in the hole, because they will just get a 0 for the loss if that ends up being a 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, we do have the first blood coming in as Riots ends up dropping right there. So the options opening up for Fierce as they pretty much got complete control of that A site. It's going to take some big plays coming out of Fearless for them to be able to make a push to one site or the other. And Shield right now just holding the back corner. It looks like with that DRH of his and now making the rotation over toward the B site. Only one player there defending, it looks like, could be an easy opportunity for Fearless as they are able to get pretty much their entire team onto the site. But Raballo spots the top of the head right there. It's actually, I think, Shadow getting the frag onto the site with the Axe. Orbital, the only player left. Players dropping like flies. Fierce now up 5-3, looking like we will have another quick 2-0 win as they are now at match point.
Yeah, I mean, that is looking to be the case, and you can definitely tell that Renounce and Main Mike, after a couple rounds went over in favor of Fearless, have started to take it a little bit more seriously. Not running 4 snipers anymore. Raballo is actually still running a shotgun, so again, even though there's been some nerfs to them, trying to show that they're still viable, able to find one that gets quick scope by Lethal, and right now is a 3-2 advantage for the side of Fierce, and they just need to pick up this one round. And there it is. Sneaky. Big performance, dropping 12 kills here in Search and Destroy. That game actually went a little bit longer than I expected it to, Bobby.
Yeah, a pretty good fight from Fearless. Obviously, Fierce maybe not playing 100% the whole time, but some definite good practice for Fearless as one of the newer teams. Riots showing that he's going to be one of the more consistent Search and Destroy players for them, as well as Lethal, who has been good at sniping, but when you go up against, like, just the amount of sniper options that you have over on Fierce, everybody on that team can snipe. I think there was one player that was not sniping, but we've seen Raballo can snipe, we've seen Shadow can snipe, we've seen Sneaky can snipe, we've seen Mike can snipe, and then Renounce ends up top fragging as he pulls out the sniper himself. So there's really not anybody on that roster that can't snipe, and it showed theirs. They were just having fun.
Yeah, and again, I am still excited to see Fearless. I think they are a strong team. I think they have a little bit of team synergy that they can work out, and then they can obviously improve on their gunfights as well. But it is a team that I think over the course of time, if they stick together, they can develop and grow a little bit stronger together. We've seen them pop off really hard in the past, although it be maybe a little different as far as like a tiering. And obviously they weren't going up against top teams of Mobile Mayhem when they were, fighting for their right to get into Mobile Mayhem. So a little bit unfortunate start for them here in the first
I'm gonna go ahead
days
and
of
hit
the
the
tournament.
start record.
But again, there's a lot of opportunity. You know, I think that they'll do. We'll have like maybe a better showing out of them, out of teams that are performing towards the middle of the scale. So that'll be the real big test, is seeing where they perform. This would actually be Gravity, a team that I would like to see them go up against here pretty soon and try to gauge where everybody is positioned, because Gravity has also been a team that kind of came out of nowhere and has had really strong performances. So I feel like that would be a good matchups.
Okay, I'm looking back at the. I'm gonna run the clip. Let's see. So apparently Sneaky actually ended up having an ace that round. I didn't realize, but he actually.
Oh, you were just there watching. I don't remember who the last person was alive, but I mean that was so clean.
That was one of the cleaner, especially the 2-piece that he had at the end. I don't even know how that was possible, but it looks like we got our.
Oh, he absolutely should have died there.
There's
no
100%.
reason. I think it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was Lethal who got turned on over the bomb there. But that's a rough way to go down.
You hate to see it. It looks like our teams are good to go. We've got Gravity versus Tribe Gaming hopping in to match number 3. It's going to be Crash Hardpoint.
Yeah, and this is one of those maps that's really difficult to get any scoring on the opening hardpoint. We do often see teams will focus more on fighting over 3-story, so definitely expect to see that. We've got a couple guys from Gravity up there, but Tribe, Lil B comes through with a big double kill. Tectonic finds a kill of his own. Lil B putting 3 up on the board. This is a great opening fight here for Tribe. As well, they're actually getting some good trickle here on the first objective as well. Tribe in absolutely dominant control right now.
Yeah, and B-Thug is the only player that's been able to get a kill so far for Gravity. We see a couple coming in as he picks up another, as does Yusa, but the control right now for Tribe is just 100% in place, and Gravity's going to have a tough time breaking this, especially with multiple players inside 3-story for Tribe. Little B finally gets slid on right there. I'm surprised nobody thought to take that approach beforehand, but you can see Tribe just absolutely filling up the feed. Not too concerned about that first hard point, really focusing on securing that 3-story control. As you can see, Bolu still controlling the hop-up. We do have Cello on the inside for Gravity. He's going to try to cause some issues, but with both Little B and Bolu making the push in, he's not going to have a whole lot of opportunity, and just like that, Tribe in complete control of P2. Bolu picks up another frag right there, and the points will continue to stack up.
Yeah, and Tribe are in a great position to lock this down. We see Chels with the chopper trying to push back the opposition, actually unable to find a kill there, but does get the reload in and gets set back in position. Is going to look for that gunfight against Yusa top, finds the kill finally over the head glitch. And Tribe are just massively in control of this game.
And The HVK needs a nerf. This gun needs a nerf. These guys, obviously, you got players on both teams that are using the gun, but you just see whenever players that play at this level are using the gun that kills that fast, like, it's so difficult to counter it. And with the experience that you've got over on Tribe, there's just nothing this Gravity team's been able to do. Ninja still laying the goose egg. Somehow Bolu lasers over the head glitch. They're going to be able to push in.
After, like, having 2 shots
yeah. You just hate to see there's not a whole lot you can do about it. He's going to slide the stairs, pick up the hipfire kill as well. A little bit of time coming in for Gravity, but not before being taken out by Leon, who's now activated his Annihilator. And at this point, it looks like only a matter of time before Tribe closes out this first game.
Yeah, I mean, this is massively in control of Tribe. I mean, it's not a 150-0. It's not a 150-1, but, I mean, very, very close. I mean, it's hard to even keep watching the players on the side of Gravity, just in the sense that it's literally like spawn, walk around a corner, and die at this point. Ivan just suffered the same fate when I flicked over to him. I mean, Tribe are just set up. They're in a great spot. They're winning the gunfights they need. Great operator control coming out of these guys. I don't think I've really seen too much overlap in the Annihilators. This is a big opportunity for Gravity, though. They've made their rotation over. They will get some points on this next hardpoint. And this is one of the hardest hardpoints in the game to break, in my opinion. So if they're going to get anything going for them, it's got to be here. Because if Tribe get in on this one, then Tribe are just going to be poised to clean up the win. There's still time on for it. Here it is, Tribe coming through, 3 kills. And
yeah.
I think that's going to be lights out. That's looking like game 1 going over to Tribe.
When you get Tectonic pulling out his Annihilator and you've only got 1 or 2 people left on the hard point, it's only a matter of time. You can see Tech still having a slow game, and to have 8 kills when the top frag over on Gravity has 5. I think it's a pretty good encapsulation of how this game has gone. You can see the 150-25 win. Gonna be pretty easy for Tribe, as they will happily take that first win and 1 step closer to moving up in those leaderboards once again. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're in. Let me just check the standings real quick. Yes, Tribe is in the same division as Turbulence, so if they're able to get the 2-0, they'll be able to move up ahead of them and be tied with Nova Imperium at 40 points. So, based on how that first game went, I would say pretty good chance that they will be able to do so.
Yeah, and this is really nice to see Tribe.
Inside American Riots
from the last season.
able to get the
Season 2 was not great for them. I think they finished dead last in the tournament, which leading up to Season 2 would not have been the expected outcome. They bounced back a little bit in Season 3 with some better performances, but not quite all there. And so far here for Season 4, they are showing to be a team that is incredibly strong and capable. So keep an eye out on these guys. Little B, again, this is a player that was a sub on the roster. And originally was intended to not see a lot of game time, and has been a real constant top fragger for the side of Tribe. We used to rely on Tectonic a lot to be kind of that anchor for Tribe, and I gotta say, I think it's shifting a little bit in Little B's favor, because when Little B does good, Tribe comes away with wins, and when Little B is struggling, things don't necessarily look that much in their favor. Tectonic, I mean, is a player that, you know, again, I'm not saying that he's gotten worse. I'm just wondering if it's just that Little B has gotten that much better, because Tectonic used to be one of the strongest players on this lineup and is kind of falling towards a little bit of the middle of the pack.
Yep, looks like we are good to go to hop into game number 2. Search and Destroy on Meltdown, and anybody that watched the North American COD Mobile Championship saw Tribe play this quite a few times. They did so without Little B, so we'll see if his sniper presence is felt more, and looks like he's actually once again making the switch over to the SMG, as we've seen him sniping less and less. Obviously, the transition to phone typically changes a little bit of your play style, so Tectonic pulling out the sniper for Tribe once again, and looking like this could potentially be a permanent change for them. We'll see if he's able to get some picks, as we do have the aggressive B push coming in. Only one player defending right now for Gravity, and it's B-Thug over on the backside. He's going to get spotted. Actually picks up the frag onto Bolu. The refrag from Childs will come in. Bomb is down. 4 players remain for each team. You hear Cello laying down those shots. He's actually able to pick up the frag onto Little B. Slides the corner. Very nearly takes out Childs, but played perfectly by him. And now a one-man advantage for Gravity, is Child's going to be the only player left. It's actually Yusa picking up the frag. Okay, I'm thinking of Yuna. I was about to say former Xset player, but I believe that is a different player.
I do believe so too, and Ivan actually played a really strong round there. He was able to make a really clean rotation. Kind of came up right behind Tribe as they turned away from that kind of nook and cranny path coming from Tribe spawn. Was able to find Tectonic, and I believe he also actually picked up the kill on Little B, and then was able to duck down behind Bomb and go ahead and get the defuse. So Gravity, big play, and Tribe definitely had to step it up a little bit in search and destroy. Tech might, Dello just barely made it around that corner without Tech seeing.
Ooh, Tech spots a player up in the sniper's nest, not able to land shots, and Ivan actually ends up winning that one. Not really what you'd expect to see right there, but Gravity looking very solid in search and destroy despite their struggles in Hardpoint. We are going to have Gravity Ivan taken out right there. It's a 1v1, Childs versus Ninja. Ninja is going to lay down the first shots, but not able to land anything yet, and you can see Child's pretty content to play time right now. He's doing so perfectly. Just running around generators, finally able to pick up the frag right there. That'll allow Tribe to tie things up at 1-1.
Yeah, Tribe definitely needed that turnaround after Gravity came through with a strong opening win. Again, Ivan just popping off for the team over here, though. He's gotten 2 kills both rounds, and I mean, even that last matchup, even though it did go in favor of Tribe in the end, still very close between these two teams. I would say even surprisingly close after watching that first matchup. What just happened there, Bob? Everything died.
Yeah, I mean, Child's just melting everybody, and just like that, B-Thug's going to be the only player remaining for Gravity. The bomb's going to go down onto A. Not an easy place to push into. He's getting shot from behind, only 30 HP to work with. Leon using the Echo, which got a nerf, but in tight situations like this, still very viable. So we'll see if he can make that rotation to mid, but he's got a player behind him. Probably not going to be able to win that one, as Childs picks up yet another frag, and he is up to 7 kills through the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, that was such a weird fight for B-Thug to stop running away and, like, try to turn around and make that challenge. But that will be a second round now going over to the side of Tribe. B-Thug making his way up into window, hoping to find a opening pick. With the smoke, though, he's not going to see Leon or the rest of Tribe running through. Finds Childs jumping through the window. Does get dropped by Bolu, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade for both of these teams.
Yeah, that was a big retake right there. I'm not even sure quite how Bolu spotted him, but that'll open up the B site once again. A couple players actually pushing through for Gravity right now. They could have a good retake right here if they execute correctly. Cello picks up the first frag. Tectonic's able to get the refrag. Little B is going to be the only player remaining against the 3 Gravity players, and just like that, they are able to take out the 4 remaining Tribe players. They'll be able to get the defuse, and looking a lot better in Search and Destroy than they did in that first game of Hardpoint.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is big for Gravity to turn things around. I think a lot of it really boils down to Tribe's decision to not put the GOAT in. We don't have Zim, highest win rate Search and Destroy player on the side of Tribe. Where's he at, Bobby? I mean, come on.
I don't know. You tell me. Just like that.
The big open for Gravity here, man. This could be another round going in Gravity's favor.
Yeah, Ninja picks up a big frag right there. 2 players down for Tribe. They haven't been able to find any rhythm. Tectonic with the sniper hasn't really been working out for him, and Childs seeming to be the only player that's been able to do anything. He's able to get a frag, but not before getting taken out by Gravity, and Bolu staying alive, just trying to make something out of nothing. He's not going to be able to do it. Ninja continuing to laser, and Gravity staying in this. We may actually end up having a game 3. This is not even like a, oh, Tribe's just trolling around or whatever. Like, they're playing this relatively seriously, but Gravity just seems to have the counter at every turn.
Yeah, Gravity are doing great. This could be our first game 3 of the night, which is kind of the opposite of what we had on Tuesday, Bob. We actually had, I think, what, 3 for 4 wins to game 3, so
yep.
It has been certainly a different day. B-Thug is going to survive. Cello barely just died to the Thermite there. Is going to drop to Tectonic. Ivan will find that kill, but that is going to be a Tribe win, as Ivan was unable to find the follow-up after that gunfight that he won over, I believe it was Tech right there at the end.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised by how many off-meta guns I'm seeing over on Tribe. Not necessarily that it's bad to run off-meta guns, but when the entire opposing team is running all HVKs, like, if you're struggling a little bit, typically you'll want to do something to combat it, but Tribe's trying to see if they could just run their own guns and still get the win right here, as we do see the pretty aggressive push coming in. We got Gravity with the plant over on the B site, but we've seen Tribe go for this retake so many times before. Unfortunately, the pre-fire shots through the smoke, not going to land for Little B. Bolu is able to get first blood onto Cello. That's going to open things up. All players on the back side of generators for Gravity right now. Couple smokes in. I've heard Tribe talk about this before. So much of what they do on these retakes is based off of timing. It is going to be B-Thug able to get the frag, but it looks like the attempt at the defuse is not going to succeed off the start. B-Thug gets the frag, but Tectonic waiting for him up top. He's able to get the shots for himself, and he'll be able to get the defuse to allow Tribe to go back up 4-3.
Yeah, and Tribe need this here. Obviously, you know, we mentioned they're up against Turbulence in their division. So closing out a 2-0 victory here would definitely help them out in the standings, especially since Turbulence did lose their matchup earlier for no points. So got to keep an eye out for Tribe and what they can do here. So far, this has been a big game for Bolu Childs, and Tectonic actually coming through pretty strong. Started off a little bit on the slow side. Ivan gets a return kill, 1-for-1 trade between these two teams. Still a lot of opportunity. Oh, B-Thug just runs right into the Thermite and dies. Not sure what that was, but...
And we do get a couple frags coming in, but Tectonic not letting anyone escape alive. Picks up the final frag onto Yusa as well. Seeming like he is finally starting to find that rhythm, and now 8 kills on the board for him. Getting pretty close to Childs, who seemed to be the only player making any big strides toward the beginning for Tribe. So it's going to pull out the AR to speed boost off the start. Once again, pushing into the A site, not too concerned about whether or not the plants are coming in over on B, and feeling very confident in their ability to get those retakes. We do see Gravity playing a lot more passive on this one, as it looks like Ivan would like to be able to make a push into the A site, but with the smoke going down right there, Little B holding the top of those stairs, it's going to be a tough one to make happen. We do see B-Thug pushing in, tries to hit the snipe. Unfortunately, Ivan's going to get baited, and B-Thug does hit the follow-up. That's a big shot for him, but down 2 players now. It is match point. Yusa now the only player left, and Tectonic, no surprise right there, picking up the final kill, and it will be Tribe Gaming once again getting the sweep 2-0, and with that, we will be good to hop into our final matchup of the night. Childs, who had been so good for them for the entirety of the game, no surprise, top fragging alongside Tectonic.
Yeah, and I do got to take my words back a little bit there. I got to swallow the pride and say I was a little bit wrong here for Tech. He did show up today, but we need to see that consistency from him. We have not been seeing that consistency in the last couple of weeks. If Tectonic and Childs and Bolu can keep up the performance all season long that they had today, I think that this can absolutely be a team that can compete for the top. Lil B did bottom frag here in Search and Destroy, but was an absolute monster in that first round of Hardpoint. So overall, I really like the balance this team is coming out with here, and I'm excited to see them moving forward in the rest of the season. Again, it's been a massive improvement, not only from Season 2, where they scored the lowest in the league. Season 3, they bounced back and were kind of around the middle of the pack. Tribe this season has been a really, really strong team. And again, I think if they can keep this up, then this could be a chance to see Tribe move into the potentially finals.
Yeah, with that, they're actually going to be tied for first place in Division 2 with Nova Imperium. We saw Nova Imperium handling Turbulence relatively easily, so whenever we do finally get to that Tribe versus Turbulence matchup, I think that's going to be one of the determining factors of how Division 2 is going to play out. Obviously, not the absolute, this is what's going to happen if these two go up against each other in the semis or the finals, but usually a pretty good indicator. Exiled could potentially cause some trouble, but if I had to guess, probably those top three teams in the division being Nova Imperium, Tribe, and Turbulence based off what we've seen, especially as of late. And right now, it looking like this last matchup going to be part of the battle for Division 1, as we will have Infinix versus Xset, both teams tied for second place at 20 points over in Division 1. This is absolutely going to be a big one as far as implications for the semifinals and the finals go as well.
Yeah, I believe Exiled was able to win their matchup off stream on Tuesday, 2-0. Maybe Zim can confirm or deny that. But so that played a big part of where the scoring is today. And as well, obviously, this is a very important matchup for both these teams. Both these teams desperately need points out of today's matchup. Moving into next week, obviously, everything will be different teams, but every point counts. You know, fortunately, again, they do have kind of that cushion from season 3 to 4 as well, where a loss does not lose you points, but just nets you a flat 0. So.
All right. We should be good to load our final teams in. We'll see whether or not it's going to be another 2-0 and our quickest night of Mobile Mayhem yet, as we've only been running for an hour and 10 minutes and we're already on the final game, as opposed to the first night of Mobile Mayhem where we finished at 10 o'clock. But yeah, just a reminder, Day will be hosting the rest of the games over on his channel. So, or not Day, Zim will be hosting the rest of the games over on his channel. Sorry, I didn't mean to put that onto you. But yeah, make sure to follow him if you guys would like to check out those last couple games. Oh, Claudia gifted a sub to Marshy. Appreciate it. Nobody knows who Tribe is without Zim. True. That's the truest thing I've ever heard.
Benzo spitting facts, chat.
Yep. Tribe is nothing without Zim. Let's see. We do have Xset getting loaded in. I think I should have Infinix players. I believe they are in game, so as soon as they are out of that game, they should be good to join us. I did put the sneaky clip up on Twitter if any of you would like to check that out. It's just not fair. I don't think they even intentionally meant to bait with the concussion nade on that, but it ended up working out so well for them.
Right. Yeah, no, that was a massive round for Sneaky. I mean, again, there was multiple times all through that round that, I mean, there was no reason he needed to be alive, and was just.
Yep.
I mean, it was just given to him, if we want to be completely honest.
Oh my gosh. Those are the plays you got to make if you want to win Marksman of the Split. So, I think there is actually a small monetary prize for Marksman of the Split as well. So, Marksman MVP and Rookie of the Split. So a little additional motivation to try to grind for that, you know.
Hopefully we'll get in this game here pretty soon for you guys. Obviously, we want to get the action out. Xset, another team that has had some hit or miss performances, and they're going up against Infinix, which I don't think any team in this league looks forward to playing against Infinix,
Yep.
especially in open season. So, you know, that's definitely going to be a position where I think Xset will probably struggle in this matchup. Kind of a couple of the key matchups that I would expect to look out for is the sniper matchup between Moralto and Cheto. Cheto obviously been sniper of the split a couple times now. 2 for 3. I think 2 for 3, and he came in third place in the that other one. So
Yeah.
obviously a sniper well known throughout this throughout the Mobile Mayhem scene. Moralto, a sniper that I had really been pointing out, Bobby, heavily since season 2. Finally caught a little bit of a break in season 3. Got to show off a little bit more. Was able to compete for the sniper of the split spot. Then I think he picked up third last season. So I think this would be a good matchup to watch these two play against each other moving into season 4. And then other matchups we definitely got to look for is probably skill up against a UG or an Envoy. Does look like we're gonna have Tempo and Dante in here, and we haven't seen them play together yet. So that could be just something different. So actually, no Cheto today. That's forget everything I said against Moralto versus Cheto here.
Yeah, that'll be
But
interesting to
this
see
could-
how that impacts the game. That could open up opportunities for Xset.
And it may or may not, because this pickup with Dante has shown us throughout the games so far this season that he is also a strong Slayer position. So maybe Cheto's going to sit back, focus on the sniping once again, and just play Search for this Infinix roster. That is a possibility, but only time will tell. Even without Cheto, I do think that is a little bit of a cushion for the side of Xset. And a little bit of an edge for Moralto to maybe find some of those opening picks in Search and Destroy. Maybe even find some picks without too much opposition in Respawn, since we will be on Hardpoint Summit. There are some good opportunities where there's some long range. You know, specifically looking at a bomb side going up the hill towards those corner back far spawn hardpoints. And a sniper may be really useful there. You get that hard scope in, kind of try to bait somebody out, get a pick, and again, getting staggered on a map like Summit is super detrimental to what your team is able to do.
Yep, we got all of our players loaded in. We should be good to go momentarily, and we will be hopping into Hardpoint on Summit. So another one of those maps where the first couple round points, and especially the results of P3, tend to snowball toward the end, especially as those score streaks and operators start to build up. Just waiting for Moralto to ready up, and we should be good to go. And I think I have the right scene on. Yes, I do have the right scene on. Just waiting on to Tio right now. Many would argue should have been many-time MVP of the split. I think he did get MVP one time, right? I think it was season 1 or 2.
Yes, I think it's season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2, and then he has been in the top 3 for season 3 at least, and I would expect to see him there again this season, but
Yep.
obviously there's still a bit of season left, so anything could happen. Obviously Tempo has been a really big player for Infinix as well. I would expect to potentially see him in a running for MVP of the split as well. So Infinix roster honestly pretty stacked.
Ooh, Moralto is able to hit a clean shotgun shot off the start, but most of the kills going over to Infinix so far. Tempo sliding the corner, taking out Silva, and they will begin to take upward as we do have yet another contest coming in, but Dante able to get the frag pretty quickly right there. Still in complete control. No players topside right now. It could be an opportunity for Xset, but they've not been winning their gunfights so far. Dante, the rookie for Infinix, playing a big role so far as he picks up kill number 4, make it kill number 5. Such clean shots.
If he doesn't get rookie in this split, I'm going to lose it. He's had really big performances in both of the days so far that we've seen him in, so Again, it's hard to say if he's just going to be another Slayer for Infinix in respawn modes, and maybe Cheto will just be focusing on Search and Destroy. But, I mean, again, to add 2 players back-to-back in seasons, Tempo last season and Dante this season, to come through and have such strong performances, Bobby, I mean, that's a impressive roster change.
Yep. And over on Xset, Deathly's and Silva the only ones able to get anything together. We can see the absence of Impulsive continuing to hurt this Xset roster. Is right now those 2 players combining for 11 kills, the rest of the team combining for 3. So no super huge fraggers for Infinix, but just consistency across the board, which we're not seeing for Xset right now. We'll see if they can muster a push right here as they do catch 1 player coming off the stairs. And we do have a concussion nade kill coming in for Silva as well to be able to take a little bit of time away from Infinix, but probably only a matter of time before he gets pushed. Actually gets the single. He gets the double as well, and he's cooking right now. He's got 9 kills on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big play from Silva there. Deathly's not too far behind.
Appreciate the 5 pounds
really
normal. Absolutely, HVK is better
2
now.
kills on the board, Code with 1, and we're also with 2. You look over at the side of Infinix, and this is why I say that this is a surprisingly continuously stacked Infinix roster. They've added players last season and this season who keep up with the main roster the entire time that they play together. 6 for Tio, 7 for Tempo, 7 for Yuji, 7 for Envoy, 6 for Dante. And they are not letting up the pressure. 75-28 right now in favor of Infinix. Silva and Deathly's doing great over here for Xset, but I mean the rest of the team really got to pick it up. I mean, I know this is a map that is definitely difficult to make those rotations. It has hard points that are difficult to break, but you got to win some more of these gunfights if you want to try to turn this around.
And just like that, the rest of the hard point will be cleared out, and Infinix can now begin not only getting the rest of the scrap time, but also pushing out for next. But just like that, Deathly's is actually able to take Yuji off of his Annihilator. That's going to be a big pick for them. We see Tatio pulling out the Fennec, which is really, even the single Fennec, with the recent update, still a really good option. So,
yikes, Dante!
Oh my gosh, he's at 12 kills right now. This dude is frying. Bring in the Predator missile, make it number 13, and he's now pushing topside once again, and doesn't even care where the objective, the epitome of the Slayer role right now. Trying to see if they get anybody spawning backside, but we are getting a push in from Silva, who picks up a quick 3-piece with the Annihilator. Won't spot anybody yet, but pushing topside, able to take out Envoy. Sliding through, he will get taken out from behind by Tempo, and now about 5 seconds before Infinix closes this one out in their first game win, 150-28.
Yeah, Dante performed so well there. Xset, I actually was literally just about to say that they had a great opportunity. They lost the fight on the far hard point and had a great actual anchor come through. Deathly's was able to make the rotation over with, I believe Code was with him, and they got the anchor. They lost players. They respawned all together. They were set up for hard point. It looked like they were going to just be in a great spot to actually pick up some points. Dante comes through with a big quad, drops the Pred missile, finds a 5th and a 6th kill, and with the rest of the team was rotating over looking for kills, inadvertently just got the spot. And that was a just big back-to-back long hardpoint secure for Infinix that really closed things out.
And to look at things from the perspective of Xset, like, on the upside, that was a really good game for Silva, especially going up against Infinix and how well they were playing. For him to be able to go 14-10 was good for them. Deathly's having a much better performance than he typically does, so if they can carry that through, we've seen Infinix drop some surprising search and destroy maps so far this season. That's part of the reason that they're not at the top of the leaderboards right now. Could potentially see the sniper power from Moralto play a big role, and with the absence of Cheto, could cause some issues, but if Infinix has anything remotely similar to the performance that they just had, especially coming out of Dante, as one of their non-primary players, they're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, even without a sniper presence.
I mean, we may still have a sniper presence. We've actually seen Tatio using the sniper quite a bit more, and not even just in like a trolly way. Like he's actually picked up the sniper and is actually really, really good with a sniper rifle. So keep an eye out for him, and it does look like that is going to be potentially what his role will be. Looks like we're switching over to maybe an AR class for speed.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Typically, we don't see those sniper players push over toward B, so... Oh, Dante, all right. I like it. He's going to try to take the shot against Meralto and actually gets the hit marker off the start. Won't be able to land the kill shot, and Meralto now able to regen. Couple picks coming in for each team. 3 players apiece. He's trying to slide that mid angle to see if he can find anybody, but it's actually Dante coming out on top right there. And now a one-man advantage for Infinix. Very nearly spots a player back in spawn as well. He's going to be checking wood. Could have potentially had the wall bang right there had he released at the right time, but unfortunately didn't quite have the information that we do. And with that, Xset now making the rotation down to the B site. Nobody there to defend. They should be able to set up for the plant pretty soon. They've got to be aware of that top angle that snipers can take, and Tatio plays the nade perfectly. COD on Trovo going to be the only player remaining taking shots across, but with his position given away, he's got 2 players on the inside, and Dante hits another snipe right there, and Infinix goes up 1-0.
And Dante is coming through with a big performance here. I mean, that's big shoes to fill. If you're going to play the sniper for Infinix, having to perform in a way that Cheto would, those are big shoes to fill, and he's so far been able to do it. Rest of the team not letting him down as well. Yuji, Tatio, Tempo, all able to pick up kills there. Envoy actually picks one up onto COD this time around, and it's going to be a 2-1 trade in favor of Infinix at this point.
Yeah, Dante holding down this A site. Skills got the bomb. You can see Xset still sitting back playing for picks. Meralto not able to make anything happen yet. He is typically the X factor for them when it comes to search and destroy. If he's not able to find those picks, they're just going to continue to struggle. And once again, we see Dante finding another. We do get the trade coming in, but Infinix still at the advantage, and now Meralto all by himself as the lone remaining Xset player. Spots 1 player top wood. There's going to be a hop up right there. He's trapped in the bathrooms, and he's going to drop. It's Infinix now going up 2-0, looking like they could be marching their way to another sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it so far does look to be the case. This is, I mean, again, this is one of the stronger teams in the entire season, or in the entire league. They, I mean, dominated Season 3, open season, struggled in the finals. They dominated all through Season 2, and then dominated all through Season 3, struggled a little bit at the beginning of the finals, but really found their groove, and were able to come away with the win. Envoy finds COD as a first blood once again.
Ooh, Silva very nearly finds the frag on the inside of trailer, but things going the way big time for Infinix and Dante. 4 kills for him. First time sniping in Mobile Mayhem, but definitely no nerves so far as he has completely shut down Meralto. It's going to be a 3-0 lead for Infinix right now, and just picking up where they left off even with the absence of Cheto. Very good sign for them, and Dante looking to see if he can continue to dominate. Nobody peeking Woodside quite yet, as we do have Xset sending all their players over toward that B site. Silva didn't check his angles correctly. Probably should have died right there, but it's actually skill saving him, and Tempo just cooking right now, finding all the frags. Envoy slides the corner, gets the frag right there. 4-0 lead for Infinix.
Yeah, it's looking like Infinix want this sweep 2-0. I mean, again, Infinix, they did kind of fool around in the first day of the season last Thursday. Ended up costing themselves. I mean, really hurt themselves over 10 points. So they need to close as many games out 2-0 as they can. I mean, you know, watching them play here, I mean, clearly Dante is Cheto's Smurf or something, right? Like,
he must be.
What a madman.
I mean, he has completely shut down Meralto. Meralto has had 0 impact. He finds another onto COD. He can do no wrong right now. He's got both kills so far, unfortunately. Envoy! He just got a 3-piece, I think, in less than a second. I didn't see what happened, but oh my gosh, did that round end quickly.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't catch that one either, but obviously a really big play there coming out of Envoy. And again, this Infinix roster, I mean, if you look across the board, with the exception of Tio, who's playing kind of laid back, just carrying the bomb right now, all of the team is doing exceptionally well. 4 kills for UG. 6 Tempo, 7 Envoy, 7 Dante, dude. I mean,
oh my gosh, Meralto can't even touch him. Meralto hasn't picked up a kill. Dante's killed him every time they've encountered each other. It's a 2v3, but honestly, oh my gosh, Silva's
performance. Meralto was our, I think, 3rd place marksman of the split last season, and Dante just, I mean,
he cooked him.
The floor.
He cooked him. He laid a goose egg. Yeah. Like, they went head-to-head. Dante won every single time. So, it may have just been one of those nights for Meralto, but to see a rookie have a performance that dominant against one of the more experienced snipers in Mobile Mayhem is definitely not something that we see a whole lot. Got to give a lot of credit to him. But yeah, that's going to be it for Mobile Mayhem. At least on my channel, Zim is actually going to be hosting the rest of the game, so we're going to hit him with the raid. So make sure you guys stick around for that. We are going to take a look at the standings just one more time. Up at the top of Division 1, you got Fierce and Infinix, 20 points ahead of the rest of the competition. More than likely, that will be our semifinal matchup. If I had to guess, just based off past seasons and how both teams have looked so far this season, looking like things are going to be a lot closer for Division 2. We got Nova Imperium, Tribe, Turbulence, even Exiled has put up some good fights, and I believe they will be playing in the games on Zim's channel as well. So, like I said, if you guys want to check that out, those will be over there. But that is going to be it for the stream. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, thank you to Dave for helping me cast and everything else. We'll be off for the weekend, but we will be back at it on Tuesday, so make sure you guys stick around for that. That's going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
Crazy for Dante
and
right now.
I will see you guys next time.